Ooh.
All I ever asked was you to pick up the phone when you alone. All I ever asked was you to show me some love, kisses and hugs. No, I never had to miss you go to the club, but your boy stayed.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at Summer Walker Playing Games. The choreo is by SIMEEZ, a girl from La Chica. It's going to be a class footage type of watch, and I'm very excited about it because it is a Patreon request from Jacob. We like Jacob. Jacob's been holding it down for us, always giving us great things to take a look at, and I cannot wait to take a look at this. So how we're going to do this when it comes to class footage, I normally look at just how SIMEEZ does it first, and then I go back, analyze it, and then we watch all the other groups, just depending on if they have them there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out. I really liked your choreo from Street Woman Fighter. Here we go, girl. I'm excited. Ooh. Wow, the tension she's carrying on this is so good. Woo. There's a lot of freedom of expression in this choreo, and you can tell because of how she melts into her different poses and how everybody else responds to that. Girl! Feels like everyone gets to kind of do their own thing here. Love that. Yes! I didn't know Summer Walker sang this song. Girl. Wow. Name. Yeah. Ah, okay. Freestyle partner work right here. Where are we going with this? So they just have to be aware of the song, and they're able to make complimentary choices based on what they're hitting. Okay. Oh, okay, with the thread! Wow. That was all freestyle near that tail end. Okay, here we go. We gotta look at SIMEEZ killing it. I love her movement quality. I said that during Street Woman Fighter, and it is confirmed here. I love it so much. And I do remember there was like a certain call in one of the battles. Of course, the first season of Street Woman Fighter and the first season of Street Man Fighter, not the best judges. We all knew this. For me, she so should have taken whatever battle it was. It was the movement quality was divine to the track that she was given. But she was not given it because of the high energy that her opponent had, which is fine. I mean, everyone's, it is what it is. But I'm saying my point is I love her movement quality, and I'm glad I get to see it showcased here. Thank you, Jacob! Okay, from the top, notice that she really carries a huge legato groove. Legato is like very smooth. It's very full too, very exploratory. And you can see there's a couple moments, you know, where we're really catering to the track. Her movement quality is so good on this type of artist because her vocals and her tone has like this legato run about it, right? It's just so like off the riff, right? It just feels so implicit. And so how she goes about it, it feels so internal, vulnerable, intimate, and she matches it so beautifully. She's not fighting against the music, she's living in it. And you can see that from just a having the patience to just exist in the space, dropping it down, you know, dropping it and allowing the body to respond organically to the choice that she makes, just like everybody else. But that's just what makes it look so good. She melts it up. Tension, also abstract position. And then she goes and she threads her. Oh, God, gorgeous. I love that right there. Boom, here, boom, melting it down. It's just so nice to see her how she sets this up. Now, is this like sexy? No, it does have a sensual, playful, not playful, like a teasing kind of quality, but it's more vulnerable. Like it's a part of her, not a I'm doing this for you. It's a this is how I feel. You make me feel a sensual type of way, but it's more conversational. It's not a I'm here are my goodies. Does that make sense? Like it's different. It's, I don't know. It's just, it feels like a mature sensualness, if that makes sense. I can't really quite place it, but that's what makes it fun. It's the journey of the unknown sometimes, of like, sometimes it's okay to not really know what it is. Then I get to discover that over time. And maybe in another video, I'll encounter what that is. But here in this case, the legato groove is so nice and it feels very in tune with the music. So how she comes up, I love that. She builds up the energy, the tension here, and she's going to relax it, showcases her range. I love the choices that she's allowing her body to make. She's not staying safe. She's exploring the kinesphere as she should. That little boom, 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 conversational. She's hitting that tone with a snap. This is like, we're getting, it's like a diary entry, a journal entry, party of SIMEEZ, you know? It really feels that. Boom. And I love how she catered to that moment there. I think that was a really cool choice. And they kind of just, I'm assuming they get to kind of feel it. She kind of probably gave some form of direction. There's a lot of artistic freedom within this piece, which is why I really like it too. It felt like you were able to be a class as a dancer, not as a, I have to do it a very specific way. She was probably like, here's the move. I want you to do it how you feel it needs to be done. And I love that because the schema or the blueprint of the choreography is there, but everybody's taking such a different tense approach. And it helps them be able to dive into the track in their own way. And I really like that. It's the beauty of dance class. Now, if you were like a pro dancer on tour, that would be trickier stuff that you want to kind of, you know, you would need some form of structure to make sure everybody's on the same page and how it's supposed to be done. And that's where you get such different looks depending on the kind of class it is. I love that rotation around, which is really nice. That hit through, boom, I love that. When she's pulling her hair back, gosh, I love that, pulling that through. I'm gonna say I love it a lot. Yep, she comes up, boom, everyone dips down, she kind of rotates. It's a good chance she forgot that. That's life. She reverses it, of course, like everybody else. With that boom, boom, boom. Notice it's not so loud, it's just boom, boom. Enough for us to hear that sound that they're wanting to hit on it. Boom, 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 boom. And we're vibing out with it. Yep, say my name, say my name. Woo, golly. As she comes up, boom, dropping that mess down. Yep, and she goes, and those, the quickness into that bounce. God, it's so good. The little pas de bourrée action, she comes in, builds it up, puts it back in. So she's like, it's the energy that wants to come out and she's suppressing it and making it go in a different pathway. That's really, really nice to see. Love with the commitment to the head, not just the body, but she's letting her hair go with it. Yep, right there. It did feel like a little borracho. I wouldn't really call it that though. It's just a little pas de, like a ball change kind of switch a little bit there. And then everybody's kind of digging boom, boom, boom. I love that as we bring it down. Yes, with the energy. And everyone's kind of freestyling to their own. So I feel like it's just maybe like a 40, 50 second combo, which is great, which actually is not as much. Because BPM slower, so there's not as much content within those 50 seconds compared to like a more higher BPM track. Because there's more to fill within the sound, so you have to do more. So I love that everyone's having their own moment. She's vibing it out. I love that. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, vibe it out, SIMEEZ darling. Yep. I love that. And that's where she gets a little teasy, a little sensual, more so here. You can tell that. Yeah, very conversational. Love that. Da, da, da. She lets it go on that second one. Drops to the floor. She comes up. Boom. But notice once again, it's not like a, oh girl, it's a, oh, you know, it's like that. It's like, it's a little tease, but she goes to the back and lets them have a moment. Then you have these guys have their moment right here. Yeah. So this right here, this just worked very well. They're pretty familiar with the track probably at this point, practicing freestyling. They could be working together. They could not. That's totally fine either way. But a body roll, they're learning. They're trying to feed off of each other. Look, they're really being mindful, looking at each other to know what, like, it's a sense of familiarity and predictability and how they're going to approach the track. I love that choice. They're melting down. She's reacting to him. He's reacting to her. Love that she goes down, slides through. Then right there, that boom, reinitiation of the phrase. Look, she's watching him in the mirror, so they pull through. Great moment. Love that. Very placed in some of her positions. Could be whacking in fundamental. She's still down on the ground. Allows. She's waiting to see a moment. Her leg is in between his, so she takes that as an opportunity. That was a really cool moment to the split. Yeah. He's taking a more like masculine approach to it because of the backtrack. What's happening? She goes down. Now for me, I do appreciate the fact that he's not, I mean, that's the first time you've seen him actually try to like kind of go for it in trying to like get close to her in that way. It's been very conservative, which for me, if I didn't know him, I'd be like, I don't know. But I do. Here's the thing. They both consented to that type of dancing, if that makes sense. Like some of the choices they were making, they were kind of like hinting at trying to go for something like that because the type of track it is. I don't know though. Well, that was a really, really cool organic moment that we got to see. And now we get to see the dancers. Here we go. Now, I don't know who all's in this, but it is nice to see. And honestly, we're just going to kind of enjoy what we see here. Yep. Everyone's taking their own choice. I love it. Yep. Notice Summer really letting that head go. She's treating it like a conversation as the only female in the group. Also, here's the thing. I know not everybody in this group is a pro dancer. That's fine. Honestly, maybe not very many of them. But I love that we're taking freaking class. Does that make sense? We get equal opportunity. If we're going to bring a camera out, equal opportunity to practice in front of it. You know, this feels like with SIMEEZ, even with her, I mean, we haven't seen her do it as a soloist, but she may. I'm just saying, I love the beauty of the very first video that we're seeing of the choreo is her with others. And it's not, but it's like, people probably that was selected in a small group, but everybody made different choices. And that's what I really, really appreciate. It feels like a freaking class. And I love it, you know? And you get to see these organic moments where everybody gets to exist in the space together, turn, have their moment. Now that works. Yeah. Now notice they all kind of stayed in their spots, you know, and that would be in general something that is tricky to find the risk taking on. If you have a type of, it's ballsy, not gonna lie. Like taking risks of not staying in your spot, it's risky, but also it can be a high reward. You know what I mean? Like being able to move around the room and move and exist in the space. That would be my one note for them. Like if they were taking my class and let's say this was my choreography and I was looking at it, that would be something that I would suggest. Or if I was noticing that whenever people are freestyling, they're staying pretty like stagnant in their spot, a really good way to kind of allow them that permission of you do not have to stay in your spot. You can move around the room if you want. If you just want to stand there, you can. Like allowing the type of permission to not force them to have to stay in their spot. But it is a bit difficult whenever you are picked for a group and you're told to be in a certain spot. It's hard to deviate from that, especially when you want to do well and please. Does that make sense? And that's just an act of life. And like I said, I can tell some of them are not pro dancers. You can tell by their movement quality and you can tell by how the choices that they're making as well. They're more exploratory in the sense of they're still trying to figure out what works good on their body. That's my point. I won't pick anybody out or anything like that. It's just in general notes that I'm going through as we watch. But look, they all kind of walk away. They're having their moment. It's nice that they're all allowing the spot to continue to explore and do. It's a good challenge for some of them as well. There's certain habits you're seeing here. Some of them are kind of downcasting. I would say my guy right here. That's a good adrenaline example of sometimes you look down because you want to avoid the camera, but you still want to exist in the space. So that's an interesting thing you notice. Some people make certain pedestrian choices, which is why it's important to study and understand how to freestyle within your craft, because it allows you better moments like this to actually feel like you're doing something with it instead of just repeating the same things. Next group here. I love that. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, so it does feel like for here, all the class just got split up into groups and they just all got filmed for the camera. Yes to that. I appreciate that. Allow us to see progress reports of people's journeys. You know, I really feel like the videos, especially on social media, I feel this way a lot of times. I have to have a very specific, like, competent attempt at choreography in order for people to not trash me in comments. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like this pressure for myself that I have to, whenever I cover a K-pop artist, I have to be able to hold it down, especially if I do an analysis on it. I have to be able to hold it down and actually apply my own corrections. And that's something that is responsibility for me. And I understand the ruthlessness of how YouTube can be sometimes when people are like, that sucks, or blah, blah, blah. Like, people are like keyboard warriors in that sense. And so I understand that, but also I took on starting to do this with that in mind. Like, I knew that was going to be a thing. And so I had to understand my healthiness and how I perceive myself when I learn dances, and that it's okay whenever I'm going on the journey, because there's beauty to be held in that. And in this case here, I really love this because it allows people to, you know, get that experience to practice in front of a camera, because it does hit different, but in a safer environment, and everybody gets showcased. Like a 13-minute video. Not everybody's gonna watch all of it, but I am, because firstly, Jacob wants us to, and we gotta, but also I thoroughly enjoy watching all the groups and seeing everybody's perspective, and it feels like everybody has a shot to just enjoy being there, you know, and taking class. It's a freaking class, you know what I mean? It's not and it feels more like a workshop. Autumn with, yeah, like it really does feel like we're enjoying this space and we're growing together, and it's not just about learning choreo. It's about more than that, and it's development of movement. It's development of performing. There's so many facets of that, and that's why I love Galen Hooks, is because she's really turned into her craft. She's really grown in that area to showcase that in that way, to make it accessible. So I absolutely love this. Just watching people exist in the space. Yeah, everyone making their own choices and it being okay that they do. Name. It says Autumn with Us, day 2, so I'm assuming this is like a workshop because the song is called Playing Games. Yep, notice that some people are making just some subtle mistakes, but who cares? It's class. It's class, you know? It's great. And here's the thing, SIMEEZ I don't think did all of it correctly either. It is what it is. There it is. There's some whacking right there. I think she was in our first group, my girl right there with the buttons. And you could tell she does have a heavy whacking influence because of how she kind of pose. It's similar to how Sarah does hers. That's what it reminded me of. Yep. Everyone making their own choices. Love that. Woo! Her freestyle is nice, and you get to really see her as an individual here. Some people are making some similar choices every time. It goes back to they're exploring or figuring out how to actually freestyle. It's a tricky construct. It really is. Level usage is nice. You can tell some of them are getting tired, and we're just trying to figure it out. That's me. I know what it's like to keep freestyling when your girl is tired, and you just got to make concessions of techniques, hit certain parts of the music that maybe are still accents, but shows that you're still in it. It's fun. Love that. This is cool. Yeah, this is cool. Da 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 da. Finishing it up. Nice moment shared with them. That was cool. This reminds you, right, of Street Woman Fighter whenever they would have to dance together. You get to find some really cool moments together. That was cool. That was cool. Here we go. Some of these people got selected for to dance with SIMEEZ in the beginning. Nice. So I guess your question is, okay, so why were they picked? Probably because they're very familiar with how they want to move. They have their very distinct artistic expression. Notice for him, he's taking very abstract framing of the face. His is more that R&B choreography vibes. Very clean. And you have some people here that are doing the movement, figuring it out, really making sure that they're trying to, you know, get the movement. But others, you can tell that they're not forcing the movement, and that's an indicator of whether you can tell if someone's a pro dancer or not, is that they've had to learn, because you want to keep getting jobs, you've had to learn how to move to a track and look like you know what you're doing. Like, truly. Does that make sense? So they have more understanding of that. Do I think they're pro dancers? I don't know. There's a good chance they're very, very familiar with movement quality. Because for me, I'm not really a pro dancer as much anymore. I was always a choreographer first, and so my movement quality stems from being a better teacher. Like, I want to teach it better. Oh, that one of them just walks away. So I guess they're freestyling until they feel the need to be done. I like it. I don't mind it. I think it's respectable. I like giving them the choice. They can continue moving, or they can, you know, just step away from the space. Now this one, we have more exploration, more choices. Yeah. And he's like, ha ha ha. She's still going. I love it. Yeah, I'm a fan. This looks great. Games. Cool. Fun. So it feels like we have a lot of people that are in multiple groups, which I'm a fan of too. It's great. Yeah, nice little reverb. This is one of those types of choreographies I would love to take from, because for me, I'd be like, oh, I get to be like filthy on it, like boom, you know, like I would just want to melt in this routine. And it feels like everyone's given permission to do that. And you can tell those that take advantage of that and those that are just trying to get the choreo. Like in this case, I would say this group is an example of trying to get the choreography. Some nice moments, great start. Honestly, SIMEEZ set up the choreo very well. It allows conversation, but also, boom, doing something the same time multiple times, and then cutting it to where we can enjoy freestyling and moving onto the track. She formatted this choreo very, very well. I want to dance with them. Yep. Oh, what are we doing? A little tease down there. Oh, we all said, let's go to the floor. Nay. Fun. This is just really fun. We get to just appreciate everybody. Some people, it's their multiple takes. Okay. I like the fact he's going barefoot on this. It's different type of groundedness. Because when I wave, a lot of times when I go barefoot, how my weight placements are and my choices are different in comparison when I wear shoes. It's weird, but it's just how you attack choreography feels different depending on the type of shoe you wear, what you wear. A lot of that has a psychological influence on you. So I think it's cool. It's ballsy, and I like the fact that he's going barefoot. A great example would be Sean Liu. That boy freestyles and does everything barefoot. Or with socks on, sorry. Yep. So some are definitely taking a huge concession in terms of trying to be clean. And then my guy over here with that undercut. You see that he's taking a lot of fullness. He's vibing. He's enjoying the time exploring. You know, he's not always facing the front. Once again, we have our guy over here. He's still downcast. So there's just little habits like that. Some people, how they stand, a lot of times they kind of drape their hands. They feel themselves. Does that make sense? You've kind of seen to reset that about 3 times now. You're probably going to see it again. That's life. You know what I mean? That's just, you're training on how to figure out how to keep going, pushing through even when you're uncomfortable. But then they do a pretty great job of fighting for it. And then they all slowly branch away like that. And then you have this partner section over here, which is super cool. Yeah, and she said, I'm done. New group, here we go. Yeah. So we've seen some of them already a couple of times. We saw our girl right here with the group of all guys. I think we've pretty much seen most of them before. Yeah. Kisses and hugs. Yeah, baby, yeah. Say my name. Yeah. Yeah, the digging on that's so nice. Yeah. Isn't it just nice to watch people just dance, you know? Yeah, it's in front of a camera because we're watching it because the camera captured it, but sometimes it's just really nice to just exist in the space and just watch people enjoy dancing with each other. It's so communal, and that's something that a lot of times, like, because of 2020, there's a long period of time where we didn't have this and we had to isolate ourselves to a camera, and that hits very different. So that's just really nice. This was so nice to watch. And it really honestly, it made me, it just made me reminiscent whenever I would experience classes like this, especially ones where, notice that those in the back, they didn't have their phones, right? Like a lot of classes that you notice, they have phones out and they're like filming, right? But in this case, they were just watching. That's my ideal class format. You know what I mean? But also you have a camera here that can capture you at your in the best quality, you know? And I feel too, it kind of takes the, what is it? Snow Globe Perspective used to do this, and unfortunately they are closed now at the time of recording this. But that was one of my favorite places to take class whenever I would go take class, was at Snow Globe, because how they would do it with the camera is that I would just be sitting there and it'd be like rolling back and forth, but like everybody had an equal shot in front of it. Like it wasn't only friends got picked. And there's a lot of spaces that are like that. And of course, when you have a lot of people taking a class, it's a bit difficult to not alleviate that, if that makes sense. So for me, what I found beautiful about this is we saw a lot of people be able to showcase their own perspective. They had a particular schema or blueprint to follow, and they followed it, and there wasn't so much of it that it was making you brain dead, and you were allowed to explore movement and leave the space whenever you saw fit. So it gave you control. You were also able to see people as imperfect humans, to be able to enjoy the art of dance, and you didn't see people make it a viral thing. You just got to see them enjoy the space with each other and be present. That's something that a lot of times in classes, it is missed. Just Jerk Academy. I mean, if we're keeping it related to Korea, 1 Million and Just Jerk, you really notice that in the really big collab classes, you see a lot of people with their phones out. And that's not anybody's fault. It's just kind of the culture we're in. But a lot of times it does, in fact, make these types of classes more special, because you're able to look and go, Like, for me, I know what it's like to be in a room like that. I took a class from Sora Yang. It was before Movement Lifestyle closed the first time. So it was 2017 is when I took this class. And she literally said, I don't want any phones out. Okay, I just want us to dance and enjoy the space together. And that's what happened. And it was, for me, I still remember it. It was a very hard class for me mentally. I was very mentally drained, and I was burnt out because I took class every day for 2 weeks straight, like multiple classes. Because for me, I was like, I got to take 4 classes a day because I'm only here for 2 weeks, like literally in my head. But I was burning out aggressively fast. And for Sora, the type of choreo that she does, it is hard to connect for me. I always feel that way with Sora stuff, but it's because it's GRV. And GRV's choreo is very fast, or a lot of times it's very placed in arms, and so the textures are different than what textures I cater to on certain tracks, which is fine, and there's beauty in the art of that. But it was really hard for me to retain her choreography, but I found a lot of beauty in being able to take the class and enjoy being in the class with people who are heavy hitters in the class. Of course, you had like Bailey Sock was in there, and she was like 13 at the time, so she was really, really young. Hugh is it Hugh? Yeah. Hugh Parente, I think is his name. He did backup for Blackpink now, but he was in the class too. I forgot how old he was. I think he was like in his teens, maybe. I don't know. But it was just really cool to see so many different people be able to just exist in the space and there not be like this viral moment that we have to capture. It was just nice to just take class. Right. So I love this environment, and I hope that when I go to Korea that I get to experience this. And I have been looking at some studios that with some classes that I do want to experience this with, but then I also want to experience what it's like to be in a cameraed class so I can have that empathetic lens and understand what is going on too. Does that make sense? But all that to say, there's so much beauty to be held in this, and kudos to SIMEEZ for creating this environment for us to enjoy. This was awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more of SIMEEZ or see more content like this, I do have a tier on Patreon called In the Pocket, and what it is it's a guaranteed reaction request every month, and Jacob has been such an incredible individual who has invested in that tier for many months now. So when I say that I am very thankful for Jacob, and we all say thank you to Jacob, I mean it. He's incredible, and it's really nice for us to be able to take a look at content like this, because normally I wouldn't encounter this on my own feed. So that's another thing too, is that it's a wonderful opportunity for those of you who choose to invest in that way to expose me to different facets of the community that really makes it enjoyable for me to partake in. So all that to say, I am Jess. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.